These are some of the worst in-laws I've ever heard of.
Are these your in-laws?
Hi my lovelies, it's Rebecca Rogers. Welcome back to my channel. Regardless, I'm so happy that you're here. And we have...
Avery Rogers.
And...
Mixie.
You guys loved when I had Avery last week and that made my heart so happy, and so I had him come back this week. This is my person, and getting to do this that I love with you guys so much and share it with my favorite person just means a lot to me.
And this is my person.
I do come second fiddle to the cap, but that's okay because Milo. But it's Tuesday, meaning it's apple picking day. If you're new and you're like, I have no idea what apple picking day is, you're in luck because I'm gonna tell you. On Am I the Bad Apple, people send in stories or submissions where they don't know if they acted appropriately or not. We'll read them, we'll talk about whether we think they're good apples or bad apple or crab apples, and sometimes we'll agree and sometimes we won't, but that's okay. A really big reminder is that everyone has different experiences in life, and those experiences shape their opinions. So for example, if there's a story about kids, we don't have kids, nor do we have siblings with kids. So our opinions might not be the same as yours, because again, we don't know. And that's okay, we can learn through conversation and from talking to each other. I mean, that's what this is all about. So without further ado, let's get started with this week's episode of Am I the Bad Apple? Let's go apple picking! All right. Am I the bad apple for uninviting my soon-to-be mother-in-law for my wedding? I, 27 female, am engaged to my fiance, 45 male, and we plan to get married in July. I have 2 kids with my late husband. My soon-to-be mother-in-law, who I will refer to as mother-in-law, doesn't really know the full context of his death, as I'm a very private person and I'm not very close with her. He passed when I was 23, and I really only discuss his passing once I'm very close with someone, as it's a very sensitive subject. I only talked to my mother-in-law a handful of times at holidays, and I've never really had a conversation that extended beyond basic small talk. Now, to get into this. We recently hosted our first Thanksgiving, and I felt very accomplished and was very excited to share this moment with my soon-to-be family. The only issue is that I totally spaced on the mashed potatoes, which seemed to have really annoyed my mother-in-law and put her in a really pissy mood.
Sure.
Thankfully, my fiance's sister offered to go to the store and buy some instant mashed potatoes, to which I was very grateful. She just asked me to check on her youngest daughter, who was in the upstairs bedroom with my kids, and they've been very quiet recently, which moms of Reddit know is never a good thing. Of course, I go to check on them, and they're fully engrossed in watching Encanto. Left sitting at the table downstairs was my soon-to-be mother-in-law, father-in-law, brother-in-law, fiance, and most importantly, my sister-in-law's oldest daughter, 15 female. As I make my way downstairs, I do note the silence at the table, but I don't really think anything of it. After dinner, however, while everyone is leaving, my sister-in-law's oldest daughter pulls me aside and asks to speak with me. I ask her if everything's okay, and she explains that while I was upstairs, mother-in-law made a comment of something along the lines of,
I don't get why fiance would get with someone who's already used up, and why is he running around with someone like that? It will ruin his reputation among men.
Along with other comments that this young girl just wasn't comfortable repeating. She said that she didn't feel right not telling me, and I thanked her profusely and honestly was in complete shock at what I just heard. My mother-in-law already left at this point, but I'm a very confrontational person because I believe it gets drama out of the way. I called up my mother-in-law and asked if all of this was true, and she got really quiet before admitting it was. She said something along the lines of,
I'm glad you know now how everyone feels. I was getting tired of hiding it from you.
When I started to cry, she replied with, and this is a direct quote,
You act like a slut, you get treated like one.
I was shocked. In a moment of anger, I just uninvited her from the wedding. My fiance is very upset and is threatening to leave if I don't fix all this right now. He and our friends are calling me a jerk, and many have been ostracizing me. I'm open to criticism, but I really don't think I did anything wrong. So, am I the bad apple for uninviting my soon-to-be mother-in-law from our wedding? In what world would this woman have to apologize for her future mother-in-law calling her names?
Well, see, it's not necessarily the apologize that people are going to look into. It's going to be that she just
Uninvited someone who called her a slut.
But
right.
It's his mother.
and openly asked at the dinner table, why are you with this floozy? She's gonna ruin your reputation. Why would you want someone like that at your wedding?
I mean, you might not, but
I don't care if she's blood related. I don't care if she's a mom. I wouldn't want her there either.
in my opinion, you don't send the email or the text while you're angry at someone. She should have taken some time to cool off and maybe tried to figure things out before just jumping to a conclusion.
I don't
think you're
disagree.
wrong.
I don't disagree. You don't send, and that's something that I have had to work on in my life, is to not send the emails when you're mad. I've sent many angry emails to parents. They were acting crazy and I couldn't hold my tongue, and I had to learn not to send the email when I was angry. But I don't think the question is, was she wrong to uninvite her? I don't think so. I'm honestly so disappointed, first of all, that the fiance let his mother talk about his soon-to-be wife like that at the dinner table. He should have shut that down immediately. That should not have been allowed. And then to say, oh, well, she continued to insult you on the phone and you uninvited her, you owe her an apology. For what?
Yeah, I say get rid of all the in-laws. Might be time to kick them all out.
No, I want to know really what you think. Do you think that he's right in any way, or that the mother-in-law was right to say that in any way?
I mean, no, but if you were going to have a continuing relationship with not only her, but I'm assuming the future husband,
Why would you
it's going to keep coming up.
Why would they have to have a continuing relationship if she's just going to keep calling her names?
Well, then you can't get married.
Why? You can go no contact. That is possible. Would you subject, like, if you're...
But he's leaving if she doesn't fix things.
I understand that, but that's not what I'm asking you. In general, if there's a mother-in-law, we're not asking about what he's saying. She said, I uninvited her. Does that make me wrong? I don't see anything wrong with if an in-law is constantly calling you names like that, you go no contact. It's not oh, well, if you apologize and just make nice, it's mom. No.
I mean, I agree, I guess. I don't know what else to say. I wouldn't have handled the situation like that, but I'm not her. I'm much less confrontational.
If that were to happen to us, first of all, I would talk to you, because I'd be like, why did you allow her to talk about me like that in front of everybody? And second of all, I would have you call and say, hey, this is unacceptable, you cannot do this, blah, blah, blah. I wouldn't have done it myself.
I don't know if this is a common thing. Most families, I would think, would do this a little more privately than just saying, hey, I hate your fiance. But
I think you'd be surprised how many people so openly talk about how much they hate their future in-law. Like their daughter-in-law, their son-in-law, they're not enough, or blah, blah, blah. Like, it's really sad how common it is.
Well, it's understandable. People are very hateable.
Okay, I say she's a good apple. I'm not saying that I would have acted the same way. I don't think there is anything wrong with her uninviting the mother-in-law. I don't think there's anything wrong with not wanting someone who talks about you that way and speaks to you in that way. Not even just oh, I'm sorry, I did say those things. Like, talking about it in privately. To your face, yeah, I think you're a piece of trash. I don't think that's a terrible thing to not want someone like that at your wedding. I don't think that makes her the bad apple. Now, again, I wouldn't have acted in the same way, but I don't think there's anything wrong with her saying, oh, you think I'm a piece of trash? Okay, don't come to the wedding.
I mean, I agree. I think she didn't do anything wrong, but could have been handled differently.
Good apple! Apple number 2. Am I the bad apple for hurting my mother-in-law's feelings? I, 43 female, am the mother of a 5-year-old girl in kindergarten. For context, my parents and father-in-law have all passed away in the last 3 years, leaving my mother-in-law as my daughter's sole grandparent. She lives less than half an hour away from us and works full-time, but typically has every other Friday off. I've been struggling severely with the loss of my parents and talk about them and how much I miss them on social media. My dad lived for his grandkids and would drop everything to do things with and for them. He passed away from pancreatic cancer in 2020, and my mom passed away less than 6 months later due to a broken heart. I grew up without my grandparents living nearby, and they lived out of state, and I always felt left out and ostracized when there was Grandparents' Day events at school. I've dreaded the day that my daughter could possibly feel the same way. The day finally came where my daughter's class had their first Grandparents' Day event, and I was in my feelings and started sobbing after putting my daughter to bed the night before. My mother-in-law wasn't coming because she gets anxiety driving long distances, and that's fine. That's not her fault. I made a social media post reflecting on how much I missed my parents and wish they could be here for my daughter. I was just in my feelings, and making those kinds of posts is normal for me since my parents died. The next morning though, my husband and I attended a meeting and planned to go on a nice lunch date after. As we were driving to the restaurant, he called his mom to touch base and see how she was doing. She snapped when she answered the phone, but wouldn't tell us what was wrong. We had a short conversation with her and finished just before we arrived to our destination. Shortly after arriving, I excused myself to go wash my hands. When I got back to the table, my husband was fumming. I asked what happened and he demanded to know why I attacked his mom on social media. I was taken by surprise and tried to explain that I never, nor would I ever do such a thing because of how much I love and respect her. He then brought up my post about my parents and how it was clearly an attack against his mom. I asked if he even read what I said and he said, yeah, I did. I then asked him if I even mentioned his mom or made any derogatory remarks about her, to which he said,
No, but when my mom read it, she took it as a personal attack.
He then demanded that I needed to apologize immediately. I told him I didn't believe there was anything to apologize for, but I would do so anyway just because he asked. I sent her a text stating my sincerest apology and that I never intended to hurt her in any way. She responded by saying it was done and we should all just move on. But my husband and I ended up having a severe fight that lasted 3 days and made the whole household so tense. My mother-in-law hasn't even spoken to me since the event and even tried to claim that I didn't share a video of my daughter's holiday class program just out of spite. I did send it though, and I even tagged her in it on social media the same day that I posted it. Christmas is coming up and we're gonna be spending it at my mother-in-law's, and I'm so afraid I'm just gonna be brushed off and gaslit as a result of my innocent post regarding my parents. So was I the bad apple for upsetting my mother-in-law?
First of all, let's dig into what is a grandparents' day.
It's when you have your grandparents' day and they come and they
Is that
go to
something
school with
people
you
do?
for a day. I don't think I ever had a grandparents'
I felt
day.
like that's a very limited pool of people.
I guess it's kind of like career day, like when you have your parents come in to talk about your careers, you have your grandparents come in. I don't know. I guess that could be sweet, but I totally get your point that not everyone might have grandparents around and that could make a kid feel left out. Like, I'm very lucky in that both sets of my grandparents are around and I'm very fortunate for that, but I know Avery doesn't have any grandparents around right now. As much as Grandma really wants to claim that you're her grandchild.
Grandma sounds like a good profession. I can do it. Minus the kids, I could do it. Do we know what she said in the post though?
We know that she says that she regularly makes posts about missing her parents and them being gone, and she said there was a post about how much she missed them and how she wished that they could be there for her daughter in general.
I mean, as long as she didn't intend anything bad, I could see how she could think it would be passive aggressive, but I don't think she's done anything wrong.
I don't either. And even she asked her husband, like, did I say anything about your mom? No. Did I say anything derogatory in any way? No. He's like, but she took it as a personal attack, which I totally get. I can see why she might have felt, oh, was that passive aggressive? Is that about me? Just from the guilt of not being able to be there for her grandchild. I'm not understanding how it's turned into a, you're the worst person ever, you're attacking my mother. Like, I don't understand that.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you had a bad day at work.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that it's okay to have a 3-day fight. That's so overboard to me, is the husband being so mean to her about it. Like, okay, apologize just for, I'm sorry that you took it this way. It was not.
I don't think that's even necessary. I don't think she had to do that, but I think it was nice of her to do it.
Yes, I agree with that. I do agree with that because she genuinely didn't mean anything by it. But something else that I try to always convey, especially to students when I was teaching the high schoolers, is that it's not always about what you say or what you do, but sometimes it's also about how you make people feel, and you have a choice to decide whether that's something that you care about or not. So like if it's a mother-in-law who genuinely didn't do anything wrong and you didn't mean to make her feel bad but you did, I don't see there's anything wrong with, hey, I'm so sorry that this made you feel this way. That wasn't my intention. Did not in any way mean this towards you, so I'm sorry if you took my post this way, but I don't think that she should apologize for the post, if that makes sense. Like, I'm sorry that this made you feel this way, but that wasn't what it was about. And I don't think that's out of the question.
It's nicer than me. I want to apologize.
I think that could have also been a thing. Like, I'll come get you. It's only 30 minutes away. I would have gone to get her.
Is that a long distance? Is that what they're saying? It's 30 minutes?
I guess. I mean, you have to think, like, Think of like Johnny, she wouldn't drive.
I'd have gone and picked her up.
I would have gone also, and I think I would have apologized for the post making her feel that way. I wouldn't have apologized for the post though. And I don't think you would be wrong to not apologize either. So I'm gonna go on good apple. Are we agreeing on all these again? High five?
These are two pretty easy ones.
Yeah, I know.
Not a lot of bad stuff going on from our protagonists so far.
Apple number 3. Am I the bad apple for ruining Christmas? So for the last 3 months leading up to Christmas, my sister-in-law has been communicating with her brother, my partner, about what her kids would like for Christmas and what ours would like. She's been very demanding that her teenagers don't need toys or any gifts and just want cash so they can buy whatever they want. Cool, okay, I'm okay with that. Then I start getting calls and texts from my mother-in-law, sister-in-law, and my partner making not so subtle hints and comments about me being the Jew of the family and there better be a few $50 bills in there. I felt very pressured by all basically coercing me to giving their kids $200 each, 3 kids, because her demands were very specific about what they wanted to buy by the end of it all. Mind you all, this time I made very little talk about what my kids wanted, and it was mainly very one-sided, with my partner reassuring me that it would be a two-way street and the favor would be returned to our kids. Fast forward to Christmas, I don't even get a thank you when she took the $600 in envelopes happily, and all my kids got from her was a $20 Smiggle gift card each. I grabbed my kids and just left the Christmas dinner. I know you're supposed to be grateful with all and whatever you get, but I worked for 3 months saving money that I felt I had to give, and I thought it was excessive in return for a joke. My kids get booger all while hers gets spoiled and she pockets both ways. I already went off at my partner for pushing me to comply with this situation, but now apparently I've ruined Christmas. So, am I the bad apple for being so angry and ruining Christmas?
What is Smiggle?
Oh, I think it's like a TJ Maxx in Australia. You know why this story makes me mad. I cannot believe they were allowed to make that comment. Not only the fact that the mother-in-law and sister-in-law were allowed, without the partner getting involved, to insinuate that, well, she's the Jew, so she can spend more money. That is disgusting.
Is she actually Jewish? I didn't understand if it was just like a snide comment that was trying to say, you are the miser or you're frugal. Or is she actually... No,
she's Jewish. She put in a thing, she is Jewish.
Either way, it's an inappropriate comment.
Yes, so inappropriate. I'm sweating right now. I know we had to take a second to figure out what Smiggle was, but I can feel like my face is getting hot.
I just think it's kind of crazy that they were like, hey, you better spend $200
on each child,
and I'm gonna give you, 60. I guess they had 3 kids apiece.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know how many kids she had. Let me look back and look. I don't know. It doesn't specify, but even so, she's spending 10 times more on each child. That is wild. That is so unfair. You know what? I would have said, oh, I'm so sorry. Jews don't celebrate Christmas. Guess can't get them anything.
No comment.
I would have yanked those kids out so quick, just like her. I'm like, nope, we're leaving. Absolutely not.
I just want someone to be an actual Grinch.
Think about how those kids feel. If everyone's opening presents and their cousins are opening, woo, I just got $200, and they pull out a $20 gift card.
This is why I don't even think presents are worthwhile.
Avery hates getting presents. I love giving him presents, and I just want to give him all the presents, and he hates getting things.
I think getting and giving presents is a wonderful gesture, but this is what it turns into. You lose all of the meaning of this holiday, the gesture, whatever else goes into it, and it turns into, oh, well, this isn't good enough, or this is disappointing. And
I think there's a difference between taking something that someone genuinely was excited to give you and they picked out, and they're like, oh, I think this is a great gift, and it might not be what you thought it was going to be, and that's okay, but there's a difference between that and, oh, you have to spend $600, I'm gonna spend $60, and you can afford it because you're a Jew. Oh, it just feels gross coming out of my mouth.
I think you just go buy your own presents, wrap them, bring them, and be like, hey.
Be like, oh yay, happy birthday to me. I'm a good apple.
I don't see how you can say bad.
I don't either.
I want someone to be an actual Grinch, though.
I don't like to say this often because it's not my business, but if it's to the point that your partner is allowing them to say such anti-Semitic things to you, run, girl. Get out of there now. It's 2022, about to be 2023. The world is a crazy place. You don't take those chances. Absolutely not. Not with everything going on in the world right now. Absolutely not. You get out. Do you think we're gonna have all good apples today?
No.
We have a big C. We've gotta have a sweet basket.
I need a Grinch. I need someone to come in and ruin Christmas.
Where's Milo?
Just get rid of these whoos.
Apple number 4. Am I the bad apple for being a buzzkill for my in-laws? My husband, 30 male, and I, 28 female, are finally pregnant. We're so excited to start the next part of this journey together. We've been together since high school and have only been married a couple of years. So this is something we've worked so hard for in life. Recently, we started telling our immediate families. We told his side first. There were some delays due to illnesses on telling mine. We told my husband's first, but haven't been able to tell my family yet. There's just been a lot of delays due to illnesses. However, since telling my mother-in-law, she started insisting that we're having a boy. First off, I'm not far enough along yet to know the gender of the baby, but she won't let anyone think otherwise. In fact, she's already started purchasing clothes and things for a boy. Here's where I wonder if I'm the jerk. We sat down with everyone on my husband's side and asked them not to say anything, especially to my side of the family, about us having a baby until after Christmas. I plan on telling my grandparents on Christmas Eve, and I don't want them finding out through social media about the baby. I want them to hear it from me personally. This is both the first grandchild and great-grandchild on my side of the family, and my mother-in-law's asked us once a week if we've told them yet and if she can post on social media. I feel bad and I feel mean because every time I just say, no, don't say anything until after Christmas. But apparently now I'm a buzzkill and I'm not letting her celebrate her grandchild. So am I the bad apple for not letting her enjoy this celebration as well? Is it so bad for me to want for her to wait so badly? No.
Yes.
No. What?
I just want someone to be bad.
But you don't actually think so, right?
No, but someone needs to be the Grinch.
She can be the Grinch. All of you wonderful, amazing, soon-to-be grandmothers out there. It is your grandchild. It's not your child, okay? You don't get to decide when the world knows about the baby. You don't get to dictate when the mom or the dad or whoever tells their side of the family. That's their job. It's not yours. It's not your baby. You got to do that with your own babies. It's now their turn. Don't take that away from them. I just cracked my neck. To me, that is so unfair. And like, think now this mother who's also trying to enjoy telling her family is being pestered by her mother-in-law, getting the guilt treatment. That's not fair. She wants to be able to enjoy this too. Her family wants to enjoy it too. It's not all about you. It's not just your grandchild. It's also their grandchild. It's also their great-grandchild. It's their child. It's not all about you. It's not.
All these situations just seem like a lack or a breakdown of communication.
I don't think it's necessarily just a lack of communication. I think it's a lot of them are just a sense of entitlement.
Well, I mean, if you just said, here is exactly when you can post. Let's
That
go
she
ahead and
did.
do the post and all
She
this stuff.
said after Christmas. So she gave them a date. It's still not good enough. She's still like, it's entitlement. Let's see, what are the other things that we had? So this is entitlement. I don't necessarily know if thinking that the post was about her was entitlement. I think that's internal guilt, and I'll admit that. But the entitlement of the $600, that's entitlement. What was the other one? The wedding, and inviting her from the wedding. I should be able to say whatever I want about my son's bride. That's gross. Entitlement.
Lack of communication.
You had a lot more to say last episode. You're not really adding anything.
There's nothing to add. The stories are very straightforward, and I think you're covering most of it because the protagonist is doing nothing in any of these is the problem. They're just getting abused by their family members, it sounds like.
Yeah. Yeah. These all are pretty easy.
There's not really any back and forth. It's like, did I ruin Christmas because this person threw mashed potatoes in my face? Well, you should have just opened your mouth.
I didn't even mean for them to be all so straightforward. I literally went to the Bad Apple subreddit and just typed in MIL for like mother-in-law or SIL, or just went to my email and just typed in, am I the bad apple in-law? Like, that's it. And I just picked the first 4 that I could find. I was like, we have to do this quick. It's the holidays. But all these seemed really straightforward to me. So for me, it's all good apples.
Yeah, I guess they're all good apples. Well,
He wants to disagree with me so bad.
I want everyone to do that.
So that's 4 good apples from me, 4 good apples from Avery.
And 1 orange.
Did anyone catch the orange?
I didn't.
As always, if you want to submit your stories to possibly be on Am I the Bad Apple, you can do so at our subreddit r/Am I the Bad Apple. And we had a little bit of a in-law theme today. If you want another theme or any kind of anything really, let us know in the comments. We love to hear your opinions. We want to know if you agree with us, if you disagree with us, if you've had an experience that might provide a different perspective to one of the stories, let us know. Again, we all walk different paths of life and we all experience different things, and maybe you can shed some light on something that we didn't think of. And that's okay, we can all learn from each other.
We want chaos and fire.
But we hope that you guys are in the process of recovering from the holidays like we are, and we hope you guys have a great last week of 2022. Wait, does that mean that this is the last bad apple of the year?
I think so, yeah.
Ah! So I guess that means we'll see you next year. We hope that you guys have so much fun on New Year's Eve. Stay safe. And I hope you pick a good New Year's resolution that you can keep and it's attainable. Do you have a New Year's resolution?
Spend less time with my wife.
That's so sad.
I'm
Why
just
would you
kidding.
say that? That's so sad. My feelers.
I want to see some crazy bad apple stories.
Okay, that's a good resolution. We'll stick with
Chaos and
that.
fire.
We'll see you next week. Bye, my lovelies. Mwah.